Hey, this is Steve from Livication Media, and we're here with Brendan from Circa Survive. Just got a couple questions regarding your guitar playing. When did you first start playing guitar?
I was in high school. I think I was 16 or 17 when I got my first guitar, and I learned a couple Nirvana riffs, and high school was a really weird time for me, so I didn't really dedicate myself to it at the time, but I was definitely interested. And then I think around 20 years old, maybe 21, I started to really kind of jam with some friends and do some more. Everything was like punk rock though, so I never had that sweet background where I went and learned all the Metallica records and knew how to shred or anything. It was just always sort of like half-assing it. I wanted to do it, but was never great at it. But
You just kind of played around?
Yeah, just kind of noodling, trying to make fun shapes with my fingers and stuff like that. So
Cool. That's probably how you came up with such a signature sound.
It's possible.
What do you remember about your first guitar?
It's called a Martin Stinger, and I don't think it's actually affiliated with Martin Guitars at all, but it's this red guitar that had a Grateful Dead paint your face sticker on it that looked like it was just melting off the side of the guitar.
Cool.
And it was a total piece of shit. And I gave it to my nephew. My nephew was born, not my nephew, my cousin's son was born same birthday as me, April 6th.
Wow,
and
cool.
So after I got a nicer guitar, I gave him my guitar.
Awesome. And
He's taking care
what
of
do you
it
like
somewhere.
about your guitars now?
Well, I started playing Melanson guitars almost, I guess, about 8 years ago, like right around when Circa Survive started, and they're very lightweight and just feel really nice to me. I kind of got addicted to them. And there's a couple guitars. I never really did Fender or Gibson. Never really did like the sort of mainstream things, which is weird because they obviously sound amazing. That's why everybody uses them, but I don't know. Gerard's always been really good to me. That's the guy that builds the guitars and helps me out. And there's a couple other kind of boutique guitars that I plan on trying out soon, but haven't really done it yet.
Cool. Yeah, I've always thought that your guitar, that the main one, the natural wood one, it looks really beautiful and
Yeah.
just a little bit envious.
Well, the first one that I ever bought was it was like one-piece ash, all natural looking, and a one-piece neck and fretboard, like was all one-piece rosewood with no fret markers on it, and it was the most beautiful guitar I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And it had like a built-in MIDI pickup and like custom pickups, and it was perfect condition, and I was just like, I can't keep this. I beat the shit out of everything I own. This is too nice for me to own. So I ended up trading it for some gear and another Melanson guitar, and now I'm like, I would fucking kill to have this guitar back. It was so gorgeous. I want it so bad.
Yeah, but if you love something, you gotta let it free,
Yeah.
I guess, right?
I suppose.
I guess. Unless it's a really nice
Maybe
guitar.
maybe it'll come back
Maybe,
to me. Yeah.
just maybe. So were there any musicians or influences that you think shaped your guitar playing early on?
Early on, like I said, when I first started playing, it was sort of the grunge era for me. I was 16 when, all that shit was happening, and I learned by playing Silverchair's first record and the Toadies' first record and Clutch. Like, Clutch was really influential because the guitar player does a lot of sort of bluesy patterns and like sort of groove-oriented patterns around the drums. So I think that really stuck with me a lot when I first started playing. But as far as just listening to stuff, like Pink Floyd and Sunny Day Real Estate and Tool have always been probably like the most influential, and Led Zeppelin.
Cool.
Stuff like that. So
Awesome. Is there any one piece of gear that you really love that you feel shapes or defines your sound more than any other piece of gear?
I guess I really don't know. I mean,
they've all got their purposes,
Yeah.
huh?
it's hard to say. I had this pedal for a long time that was in my chain, but to say that it shaped my sound would be like insane, considering my amp and my guitar are probably the two biggest factors in what I really sound like. But I had this Durham Electronics Sex Drive pedal that I put it in front of any amp and it would just sound like sparkly and brighter and more alive in a way. And it died recently, and I bought a new one, and it doesn't sound the same, and I'm so bummed about it.
Weird.
Yeah, so
maybe there's like a different version or something.
Yeah, it's like a newer pedal in a smaller box, and of course they say it sounds the same, but I don't think any two pedals are going to sound exactly the same. You know what I mean?
Down to individual wiring and stuff,
Yeah.
I guess, you know.
But recently, like, I've been playing Strymon Timeline pedal, which is a delay pedal, and it's been like one of the most integral things, because it's easy for me to program multiple delay settings into that without having a rack unit or anything. So that's really helped my live show a lot, and it's really diverse. You can do a lot with it. And also just been into like using a lot of weird fuzz along with this bass octave pedal that just, like on Birth of the Economic Hitman on the new record, there's a breakdown at the end of that song where I use like a Keeley fuzz pedal with the Keeley, or with a low octave, and it just sounds like it's gonna rip your head off. I really love that sound.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. It seems like a lot of people really are inspired by how you guys use effects, and especially delays. Like the delays you guys use really create a lot of cool atmospheres and ambiences sometimes. So
I mean, it's mostly just noodling. People are always like, how'd you come up with that? And I'm like, well, first of all, don't know what you're doing. Go plug something in and start turning the knobs, and you'll get somewhere.
That's another thing people I think are amazed at, like the way you and Colin, like, no, you don't really have a set rhythm or lead guitars. You guys just kind of, it's almost like you're just noodling, but the noodling works and intertwines so well.
I think we realized after the first 2 records, we were like, we're like, every once in a while I'm gonna play rhythm so you can hear how cool that lead is, or that you're doing there. So over the years we've tried to do that a little bit more and just let some of the melodies shine out, because we had so many counter melodies on the first 2 records, and we didn't want to let that die altogether, but at the same time wanted to let some of them stand out a little bit more.
Do you have any tips before we go for new guitarists that are starting out today who are maybe inspired by what you guys are doing in Circa Survive?
I mean, for musicians in general, I just feel like it's important to take chances. You know, if some guys are touring in a band and they need somebody to fill in on guitar, even if you don't love that, if that's an opportunity for you to get out there and meet some people, then you gotta take chances, because this whole business is so luck related, you know. And I think it's just about being good to people and taking chances and working. And I think Circa was all about that from the beginning. Like, we wanted to get together with other people that we knew were gonna work and take this seriously. And as much as, you know, we have fun and we're silly, like, we know that this is really all we have outside of family, and it supports our family. So, you know,
you guys do amazing at it, and I think you got a real dedicated crowd, and we all love you guys, and keep doing your thing, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
It's great talking to you.
Yeah.